Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Thanks for tuning in live as people roll in on a Thursday morning. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to channel members. Thanks to the viewers that are coming in live. Don't forget to say hello. But if you're watching on the replay, like I always say, great to have you watching on the replay. It's always appreciated. If you do want to tune in live, as you probably know by now, we go live 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. Pacific time to about 8:45. Talk about TFSAs, talk about investing, talk about what's on everybody's mind, and have a cup of coffee to start the day. It gets me started. Hopefully it gets you started as well. But if you're watching the replay, maybe it's the end of the day. Hard to say. But as the coffee crew rolls in here, let's see who's here. And I saw an early good morning from Paul. So Paul, congratulations. You beat Candace today. Now, I think you missed yesterday, if I remember correctly. But hey, getting there. Good morning. Hopefully you're doing well, Paul. Let me know how your day is going so far. That's awesome. And Candace came in shortly there behind. Good morning, Candace, channel member. Obviously, thank you. Always appreciated. Hopefully your day is going well, Candace, your morning. I was watching your live stream yesterday on the Danter channel, Tim and Nancy Danter, I think it's called. So I have that on my reminders now. So I tune in it's towards the end of my day. So I just kind of have it on my headphones and kind of listen to it on the side there. So always good to see other people live stream. It's always better to catch things live, I find, than on the replay. But hey, that's okay. If you can't make it, you can't make it. And Stan is here. The regulars are all here. Stan, good morning. Hopefully your day is doing well. Hopefully your portfolio is doing good today. We'll have to see. I haven't taken much of a look yet, but we'll see how that turns out. What was it yesterday? More of the Powell testimonies was yesterday, and then today I believe was the U.S. jobs report of some kind. I think another one's coming out tomorrow for something else. So big day. What is Candace? You mentioned it. Hell week on the on the market front. So and MC, good morning. Always good to have you here. Great to have you joining on. As always, everybody, if you have any questions, comments, it's not just about me yammering away about what I want to talk about. If there's anything particular on your mind, fired in the comments. We'll be happy to let's have a conversation. It makes the live streams for everybody. Makes it better for everybody. And so if anything is particular on your mind, don't be afraid to put it out there. A good group of people here, Canadians mostly. So if you have any kind of investing on your mind, fire it in there. And if you're new, don't be afraid to at least say hello. It's a good group. We're not gonna. No question is a dumb question. If you're newer to the stream, then you're welcome to. And Zach, good morning. Haven't seen you for a while, Zach. Hopefully you're well. Haven't seen you for a while. Hopefully you're still building up XEQT to your plans. Let us know how that's going. I forget the number that you want to buy each week of XEQT. I think it was four or five maybe. So hopefully that's still going okay for you. In terms of dollar cost averaging, what I've noticed is because I think most people know that it followed the channel. Obviously, each week I'm buying one share of VDY, and that is really starting to build up, which is good because I had it's dividends today came in from VDY, which is nice. I forgot it's funny how you forget all about it, and then you wake up to that email from Wealthsimple when you see your inbox in the morning. If you're like me, you probably you wake up, reach for your phone and check your emails, which is probably not a good thing to do, but it's a good thing when you get a dividend in there. And it was, so I shared it over to the community tab. It was good. It's starting to really really snowball, which is nice. Not enough to buy a full share yet, but enough to kind of put a good dent in a fractional share, which is nice. So basically got the dividend, just put it right back into fractional shares, and it's starting to really snowball, which is great. Just kind of shows a little bit of diligence and dollar cost, regular deposits and just sticking with the plan starts to really kind of starts to build up. I'll have to total up. I know last month dividends was like one of my best months ever. Just starts to really build, and then I think this month will be up as well. So building slowly but surely. And Zach, so about 10, 15 a week, because I was off. Okay, even better. That's awesome. 10 or 15 XEQT every week. That's awesome. That's so good to hear. That's perfect. So going well. That's good. Hopefully you're busy with work and all that kind of stuff, which allows you to do that. It's always nice. Sometimes I know, obviously, well, one of the conversations we're going to have today, it seems like inflation's always on the, it'll be nice when, hopefully, when this, maybe it's, I mean, how long this will go on for, who knows, but it'll be nice when we can talk about something different than inflation. But that is obviously part of the thing. And I know if with things, everything still getting more, seems like it's getting more, everything getting more expensive. If you're still able to put down, and buy 10 or 15 shares of, and do your regular deposits, if you can still stick to that, that's good. Because I know it's tough, right? Your paychecks don't go as far these days. It seems, you see, you and yeah, love the, it does really snowball. I've said it before, Candace, it's really, I've really noticed it this year, within this, within 2023, it's kind of once your portfolio hits that, I think it kind of, when it hits that, $10,000 mark, and you have enough of shares that are paying, if some are paying dividends, might be quarterly, a lot of them maybe monthly, and you really kind of start to notice it once it hits that. I think it hits that around $10,000 mark. It seems to be a bit more substantial, at least for me. So it's yeah, it's good. It's nice to see to snowball. Even though portfolio is down still on my end. Some of the, obviously all round, yes, but some of them are obviously back in the green. But it's nice to still get those good chunks of change in every month or every quarter. Good question, Zach. Did anybody check out Planter PLTR? I think a couple of people did. Let me just pull up the. I think we had that on one of our. Maybe we didn't. If we didn't, I don't think we followed that. I remember some people talking about it though, Zach. Maybe if anybody's watching the live stream has any insights on it, they can probably answer. I think we talked about that, but it's been a while. I'm going to do though. I'm going to add it to the. Our watch list though, so we have it. Planter Technologies. There we go. I'm going to add that to, let's share the screen. There it is. And we'll add it to our, oops, there we go. Oh, did it go in there? It did. There we go. So it's added. We'll keep an eye on that one, Zach. For you, but again, like if anybody else has any kind of insights on that one, let us know in the comment. And work has been busy. That's always good. I've been busy too with work. Yeah, it seems I can't. Some complain because it's busy, but it's a good thing. So that's good. Hopefully everybody else is still keeping busy with work. With. Obviously, with everything, hopefully you're not. I know there's been a couple people that have had it, layoff. We read about layoffs, that kind of stuff. But I think everybody in the crew, anyways, has been pretty lucky so far with being able to keep working, keeping busy. So that's always a good thing. Let's just keep being able to invest, which is good. Even though it's sometimes hard right now when you see the markets, what's out there. But I think we stick with the plan, and it'll pay off in the long run. On the note in regards to sticking with the plan, I did do a portfolio update video yesterday. Finally got that out. I usually like to try and get that out on Wednesdays. Sometimes I miss the Wednesdays if work is too busy, but I did film that video, and as always, the channel members do get to see it first. So I posted a day early, so it's up there for the channel members. I know I think a couple of I think some of them have seen it because there's some comments on there. So it is up there, but it will be released after this live stream for everybody else. So you don't miss out. You just the channel members get a little sneak early access to that kind of stuff. So that will be posted after excuse me, after the live stream. And let's see. I had a couple of articles to pull up. So let's pull these up. Give me one sec here. I was watching a little bit yesterday. So this is kind of, let's pull, there we go. Groceries. I think we all knew yesterday that the CEOs of some of the Canadian grocers were going on to talk to be grilled. One of the articles was like CEOs grilled on food, on causing food inflation. I love some of these headlines that came out, but Yahoo Finance wasn't as creative with their headlines. But the CEOs are saying no, they're not causing the food inflation. They're saying it's they're higher, higher supplier costs, input costs is a key factor to driving prices. I think we know that. It was kind of, if you've watched it, let me know your thoughts. It was Loblaws was on there, Empire and Metro CEOs. Now I don't know why they were just going after those three, because don't forget, I mean, Walmart sells food, Costco sells food, U.S. company, Walmart, Costco, U.S. company, Amazon also sells, certain dry goods and food things as well. So I don't know why they weren't called in for questions and testifying. Seem to be picking on the Canadians, I think, for whatever reason. Loblaws, I think, is the one that likes to get picked on a lot. They're kind of saying, though, Galen Weston saying that food prices have increased 25 times faster than profit. Company earns $1 in profit for every $25 grocery basket. That's kind of what they're saying. But that also means their total basket price increase, like since inflation increased by $4, but the profit margin hasn't gone up by the same relative amount. So hard to say. It's almost like nothing really kind of came out of all this, that people didn't really kind of know. It's easy to point fingers at, politicians like to point fingers at companies that are making, a perfect quote here, how much profit is too much profit, from the NDP, Jagmeet Singh. And they're companies, right? That's the idea, is supposed to make a profit. And I guess the question also too, you start to wonder, is like, why are they only going after food? Why not look at utility companies, telecommunications companies in Canada are what we have some of the highest. I mean, I own TELUS, but we have some of the highest cell phone in the world, and also banks. Look at the profits that banks are making too, but they're not going after that. So I don't know. They're picking on, I think, only one sector, which maybe isn't necessarily fair. But it's hard to know. It's tough. It's hard for people because everybody needs food to survive, right? So that's what I think makes it tough. If it's things are obviously more expensive. I notice it going into the grocery store, and you have to make conscious choices of things that you buy, or changes to your behavior to save money. And I think that's what people probably, I think, have to do a little bit more, instead of pointing fingers at companies for making whatever you deem obscene profit or whatever. You have to kind of look back at yourself too and go, is there other ways that I can possibly save some money on this? But I think yeah, they do, and that's the thing. You see the food, that's the conversation. I mean, we're talking about it here, but you talk about it in the grocery store lineup when if you're checking out, the person that's ringing in the groceries is saying, "I can't believe everything's so expensive now." And it's easy to kind of make noise about it, but then if you're not making any kind of conscious changes to what you're buying, it's hard to, you have to kind of point at yourself. So, but yeah, groceries is it's because you see it all the time. You're buying it probably every week or every couple days, depending what you're buying. And you always kind of, it is easy to complain because it seems like you're constantly like shelling out for groceries to eat. And a good call with the gas as well. If you have to fill up a lot for commuting, for sure you'll notice that. And of course you're driving by the gas station all the time, and you're looking, and as your light's on, you need to fill up, and you look, and it's like, oh, gas is whatever it is where you are. Here it's, I think, $1.79 right now, and you're like, oh, it was $1.69 last week. I should have filled up last week. And you kind of wait, you're like, oh, maybe I'll wait and fill up and find something cheaper, and then you end up filling up, and then you go drive down 2 blocks down the road, and it's 2 or 3 cents cheaper at another gas station. You're like, what the heck? But it's easy to complain. And yeah, I guess that maybe makes sense, with bank stuff, because by the end of it, you're just kind of used to, I mean, bank fees especially, you're not directly getting another bill every month, so you get, it just kind of comes off. It's gone. You have your checking account, and you look on your balance, and all of a sudden every month you get a account fee, and it's you don't get a separate, you don't get any kind of bill for it at all. So you're not necessarily conscious of it as much. Good call on that. But you do notice, like, over the last summer, I had to get a couple of bank drafts done, and it's so archaic. And all of a sudden you go into the bank, and they're like, oh, we can give you one for free. There's whatever your plan is, or you might get them for free, but then sometimes it's like, oh, you only get one for free, and we have to charge you for this one. And then you complain a little bit to the teller, and they go, okay, well, we won't charge you for this. We'll just do it. And so there's things like that for extra fees. Phone plans, you see it every month. I do. And it's like, holy cow. It's like you're paying this much for a phone you obviously need a phone. I need a phone. I mean, maybe not everybody needs a cell phone. I mean, I think a lot of people I don't have a landline anymore. I think a lot of people have gotten rid of landlines, but again, depending where your location is, you might not have decent cell service, so you might only have a landline, and you might have a cell phone too, but you get that bill every month, and you're like, oh, this is crazy. But there's also ways to do to reduce your phone plan as well, which we'll get into one second. I just saw Nadia popping in bed sick. Oh, hopefully you feel better, Nadia. Thanks for tuning in and saying hi, though. Go back to bed and relax. Take it easy. Phone bills. A good one is on your monthly payment. If you don't upgrade to the latest phone every 2 years, your payment will go down. Like, once you've paid off a phone, or have a phone that's paid for, if you're not financing a new phone, you can reduce it that way. So there's ways to do it. Like, I have my Bell. I'm on Bell with my phone, and my contract's up, so my phone's paid for, done. I don't need to get a new phone until this thing kicks the bucket. And I save now it's like $22 a month. So my phone bill is down, I think, to around, I have to look what the new one is. I think it's about $52. So, 52 as opposed to $70. So that's an extra, almost $20 savings a month. And it's so every little bit kind of counts. That's for sure, because there's always a little bit less at the end of the month, it seems. That's for sure. And you have a phone plan for retired, about $35 a month. Yeah, my parents have the same. Like, my dad has his phone still, and my mom has a phone. They don't use very much, and they just have they don't have text or anything on it, because they don't text on their phone, and they don't have data, so it's just a phone. So it seems to work. It's like I think it's unlimited probably. Or limited incoming or something like that. I forget what plan they have, but it's around $35 plus tax. So it's actually not too bad. So there's ways to kind of look for sure, look around and shop around. That's the one good thing about cell phones now. You're not as tied to. I mean, if you're in a contract, you're tied to the contract for the phone. If you're financing a phone, they've lowered the terms, right? It's 2 years now versus 3. And if as long as you own your phone, you can kind of take it anywhere. You can take your number anywhere, and it's so you're not going to lose your number, and you can shop around. I did a bit of looking, and from the plan I have, MC, because my contract is up, I did a bit of looking, and it's kind of, I'm in a decent plan. I wouldn't really save any money by going elsewhere, so I've kind of kept it where things are at this point. If I see maybe a super deal or something like that, I will maybe take a look, but kind of happy with it. Yeah. It's a Zoomer. It's Zoomer Wires. I also get a Zoomer magazine, and the articles are retirement articles. That's funny. get you ready for retirement. That's too funny. That's too funny. Yeah, get that. Lots of hearing ads, travel insurance ads, and probably heart different kind of medications maybe, or something like that. That's too funny. Seeing all the stuff, insurance, travel insurance, to read it. Yeah, I don't get any kind of anything extra with my phone. I get just the bill. That's all. That's all they give me. Been happy with Bell though. It seems to be all right. I switched there because it had a good deal at the time. There was a thing through. I'm trying to remember now. I forget how. I think it must have been through work or something like that I got a decent deal. And then you seem to get grandfathered into these things that seem to be better than what they're offering these days. It's hard to know. They're always pricey, but it's just nice that my phone's fine and I don't need a new phone. Interviews with Anne Murray. Super Canadian. That's too funny. That's too funny. You can sit back in your chair and read your magazine. Probably talks about pensions, and maybe I don't know what kind of if there's any investment articles and stuff like that. I don't know. That's too funny. Okay, let's go next. I have one more article, but then as always, everybody, if you got something else that you want to pick up, bring up, let us know in the comments. It's always interesting to hear as we go. And let's pull this up. Let's go. So many tabs. I always have so many tabs open. TikTok. I don't have TikTok. I don't have Facebook. I don't have WhatsApp. I'm the non-social media person. The only thing I'm really actively on is Twitter, and also a little bit of Instagram, but for sharing photography. But there's all the news kind of right now about TikTok and security, and now it's Canada's least trusted social media platform for in the country, and which I found. I'm not surprised by. It's kind of getting its lots of banning in terms of, I think some of the governments are banning it from people that are in government accessing it on government phones. I think they probably shouldn't be accessing any social media on their phones for government phones. That's just my opinion, but they should be using it for work, you'd think. And I find that it was here behind. It was falling. It's replaced Facebook as Canada's least trusted social media organization. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on the future? Is this? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually, because of the whole with China being a parent, Chinese being a parent ownership company of this, where your data is going, what data are they taking? I think I haven't read. I know some people have read right into the all the terms and conditions of the app, and I think if anything, I think a lot of the terms and conditions are if people actually read them on a lot of these social media apps, they'd be quite surprised on what they can do with your data and what they can access with your data. So be careful. I think, be out there. I think especially if people have of children that are on these, that are under, whatever age, that just watch, keep an eye on what they're doing with their accounts and who they're following and that kind of thing, and what they're sharing, and everything. I mean, I even had to tell. I mean, my parents, they're not really on Facebook anymore. My dad was big on Facebook when he was retired, but people sharing. I'd see stuff from my parents going like, "What the heck are you sharing that for? No one needs to know that," and people sharing. Maybe I'm overly paranoid, but like sharing that you're, where you're on vacation for a month, and all of a sudden, people know. They also know where you live because you've shared photos or something of where outside of your house with your address, and people can kind of search and find this. Maybe I'm overly paranoid, but I was never really big into that social media stuff. It's Facebook. I found it kind of really got to be really annoying and just a time waste. So for me, kind of focused more on YouTube because I enjoy it, and I can decide what I want to put out there. And at the end of the day, partly too, it now that being monetized, I can make a little bit of income from people watching it. I am definitely more of an observer in certain things, like Twitter especially. I think it's a great source for news, and then but I am not super active on there. More of a lurker, I guess, would be the best thing. Same with Instagram. There's some good accounts. I follow some photographers on there that I like to see, but I just don't typically share a ton on there anymore. Partly because I just don't have time, and I would prefer, personally for me, if I'm sharing my photography, I will share it on my other YouTube channel. That way, that's just kind of how I've decided to do it. Seems to work. Anne Murray, no, she did some writing, but she's an artist. You're obviously younger. she's a singer, songwriter. So yeah, I guess she's technically kind of a writer. She was a popular Canadian singer. And oops, I skipped your comment there. Yeah, this is exactly it. What's your pet's name and what's your mom's maiden name and what's your what are the last three digits of your the quiz? What's your last three digits of your social insurance number? It's so true. It's so true. And there's all those silly BuzzFeed quizzes and stuff like that too. But it's it's nuts. Speaking of quizzes and trying to get maiden names and all that kind of stuff out of you, it's I'm getting so much spam phone calls right now. It's crazy. It's kind of a side topic on those quizzes and scams or whatever, people scamming you. But it's almost to the point where I actually sometimes I can't even answer a lot of times I just don't even answer my phone because there's so much spam, so much. I'm wanted by the I think the what is it, the tax. I'm wanted for tax. I've got a warrant. I've got something like the border protection, and I've got a bunch of packages that need to be delivered. So I don't know. And it's true. I don't even, unless I know who's calling and I know the number. So if it's a client or something like that, or if it's a coworker or whatever, I know obviously they call, so I'll answer. But the rest of it, no. If it's an 866 number, it's like no, good call. And that's the truth. Yeah, there's lots of trolls and arguing. It's just like, what's the point? Sometimes it can be entertaining though. Sometimes you can get the popcorn out and see some of the threads on Twitter are quite interesting. There's a few finance people I follow on Twitter that have some good information in threads though too. Like if you can get through that noise of the arguments and battles with who you follow, it can be valuable. But it's just not getting involved in it. It's just it can be kind of a real time waster. So your time is valuable, right? And you have to just choose where you spend to waste your time. Is kind of what I do. Yeah, they had those a lot. That was on BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed did those a lot, where there's different quizzes like what kind of fruit are you, or what kind of Seinfeld? Who do you relate to most yeah, this is like super silly, super silly, time wasting things on the internet. It's so funny. Yeah, you have to be careful. I worry about that a lot partly with my mom for sure, with these text scams and email. I get a ton of email spam stuff too, like wanted by like, whatever. And it's like, part of it's like you look at when it gets sent, because some of them look really legitimate. That's the thing, like really legitimate. And it's, it's, you have to kind of take a double check, and you're like, but then you go, why is this company reaching out to me at 2 a.m. to send an email when they're a company, whatever, right? Like there is some certain flags, and it's, yeah, you have to definitely be careful. Text ones I haven't. I get a few MC, but they kind of, yeah, they you have to be careful. I mean, I worry more about my mom, because she'll message me she'll call me every once in a while. Hey, I got this email from Amazon, and she's never ordered a thing in her life from Amazon. But when I was living there, I would order things for Amazon, and if she ever wants stuff from Amazon that she sees, if she wants something, I'll just use my account and send it to her with her address. And so she kind of thinks now she'd get stuff in her email saying, "Oh, your Amazon bill," or something like that, and she'd always email me like, "Nope, just delete it. You don't have Amazon, just delete it." So, and also with like Apple, sometimes there's those Apple is whatever goes around, right? Every once in a while, there's always something new, and they just eventually send it to enough people, they get someone eventually on the line, which is unfortunate. And again, it's a scam city. It is scam city. Yeah, I'm the same way. I just don't have the time. I'm mostly online for work. If I'm reading, I don't really read a ton online as much anymore. I do read articles, like I do, but I don't spend as much, like if I'm like watching. It's mostly watching stuff. So yeah, and don't updates for causes, and yeah, I'm the same. That's kind of why I left Facebook, Candace. It just kind of got annoying, and just kind of I partly didn't want everybody to know what I'm possibly not doing or not doing half the time. I could, I don't really care. It sounds terrible. It's like I don't really care. It can just become a time suck. It is a good way to keep in touch with people that you haven't maybe seen for a long time, but it can go overboard, right? I guess is where I'm kind of go. And yeah, it's true. The email scams, they do look some really good ones. But you have to kind of look and see eventually who sent it, because a lot of times they look really good, and then all of a sudden it's coming from a Gmail account or something like that. And I always figure, if it's actually legitimate, and for some reason I owe, I don't know, border services are looking for me, I'm pretty sure that border services will reach out. They can find me somehow. They'll know where I live, if I was really in trouble with border services. um, and we'll have to see. Uh, and yeah, that's part of it too. They'll prey on. It's a numbers game for them, right? They'll tell you, like, all of a sudden, oh hey, they'll say I've gone away or something like that. Thankfully, Vic, though, my mom is she's not to generalize, but she is cheap. So I'm not convinced she would actually bail me out of prison if it was legitimate. But we'll have to see. But I joke, but I just hope she doesn't get. You just hope that people don't get caught into that. But to be really careful, especially older people, because these emails and these phone calls, they sound really, really legitimate, for sure. Um, and no, thankfully, have never been, knock on wood. I have a clean criminal record, Vic, and I can actually confirm that, because I had to get relicensed this past year, quite recently, for my work. So you have to, part of that is a criminal record check. So I'm good. I'm good. And yeah, they do on the channel. I've posted videos before, MC, about that. The internet, you have to be careful, because on YouTube goes through waves of that, of people saying that they're you, that kind of thing. I've had it happen a couple times on the channel. that's part of that's part of YouTube, unfortunately, and try and get rid of those people, but they pop up, and it's the whole thing. You just kind of hopefully nobody. I just hope nobody fall. I mean, I would feel you don't want anybody to fall for a scam. I would feel really bad if I found out someone through this channel somehow did. So I try and get that information out as much as possible. So public service announcement: I don't have WhatsApp, and none of the people on YouTube that are running channels have WhatsApp. That are legitimate. The only way to contact me is through my email on my page, and that's all I have. So, yeah, I still have with Facebook. I still have Facebook. I don't have an active account profile. Like I could log back in and access it, but if it's I still use it for Messenger because I have one friend I regularly message on Messenger, and then the odd friend that I will message on Messenger, like family, every once in a while. So I still have Messenger, yeah. But I don't have like an actual like Facebook profile. You can't, not on there. Haven't been on there for years. It's been great. You think you miss it at the very beginning because it's got that, they get you, right? But then you just kind of don't even pay attention. So yeah, that's what I worry about like, yeah, I do really worry about not so much my dad. My dad's in a nursing home. So he doesn't have internet access. He has his phone that he accesses with phone, but he doesn't he doesn't have to worry about like he can't really check email and stuff like that anymore. So he doesn't have that. So I don't have to worry about that with him, but it's my mom I kind of worry about for sure. And Candace, the chat, if you got we have a clean criminal record. Did Chat GPT write that for you? That's good. Yeah. And yeah, that's part too. It's scary, right? I don't have kids. My brother doesn't have kids, so my parents don't necessarily worry about that one. So if someone's calling them saying it's their grandson, they'll be like, I don't think so. But I can see how that can be a problem, because there's sometimes when I've called my mom, and she knows she knows me, but for whatever reason it doesn't click in, like it's her son calling. She's like, sometimes sometimes you call your parents when they get older, and they're, you say hi, and it takes them a couple seconds to realize that who she's talking, who she's kind of talking to. So that's where the scammers kind of will get you, right? So it's yeah, kind of scary. But I know I've told my mom enough, and I think she's smart enough. Like kind of said, like if you're not sure of something, don't click it. Don't return the call. If you have a question, call me, and I can kind of let you know. And I always kind of tell her, like, if the bank really wants to get in touch with you, they'll call you directly, like, or they'll send you, if it's really, if it's something that's actually, important, they'll send you a letter. So you'll know, and you'll know when you log into your banking that if they really need to get a hold of you, you'll have a contact, kind of thing. Your account would be frozen or whatever, that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's pretty. You read a lot of those. Yeah, it's unfortunate, right? And it's like it's pretty crazy. At that point, though, the bank. Not to put blame on, the bank teller or anything like that. But I think sometimes, the people behind the counter should maybe do a bit of due diligence in terms of what that money is for. It's hard because obviously it's your money, and the person is free to take out what they want. But if someone's coming in to take out a large sum of money like that, I think they should do a bit more, especially an older person, you would think. It's funny, I've gone to the bank before to get, like I said, bank draft. And there's been times when I've had to do it a few times because you need to get one. And there's been times when I've had to take out, the bank draft would be, thousands of dollars, and you have to swipe your card. But again, somebody could have your PIN or whatever. I didn't have to show any, like, nothing, Nothing. They didn't ask any questions. Just who's the draft for? Blah blah blah. That's it. And then on the flip side, I've gone in to get a draft for such a small amount of like under $100, and they've asked a gazillion questions. So it's kind of weird. And it gets stressful. You worry about them. They kind of you kind of it shifts, right? Because as growing up as kids, they're looking after you, and then it kind of shifts around, Vic, and you kind of worry about them more, I think, than they worry about you. And that's the thing. If they'll call you, if you really owe them money, if there's something, that's when they'll call you. You'll know, not looking for other money. Yeah, interesting. So the perspective is banks should have been, they should probably be more trained for stuff. And they can probably only ask so many questions too. And if they answer those questions correctly, but again, this is what's probably happened is the person that's going in there is being coached to say, they're going to ask you this and this and this. This is what you tell them. This is what you tell them, right? Which is, it's scary because that's a substantial. If it's say it's $10,000, that it's a substantial amount of money. And especially if someone if retired on a fixed income or something like that. Like, if it was, I think about it, if it was my mom, it's a substantial chunk of your savings, right? If they're taking it out, right? So, and I don't know, Vic. Maybe someone in the comments, someone can maybe jump in. I'm not into any of these ones, but I'll post your different ones. Yeah, there you go. I do not know. Not for me. Yeah, scary anyways with scams. Never good. Let's go up. I think I've caught all the comments. If I've missed anybody, let me know. I think I got everybody. We did get everybody. Perfect. There we go. Always fun coming up to close to the end, actually, which is awesome. Good question. Let's go. That's a good question. And everybody jump in with this one. It could be dollar amount, could be a percentage. Maybe there's something you're looking to portfolio goal for 2023 is to the moon. That would always be nice, right? But again, more realistically, for me, Zach, my goal for the year is to really just do the whole, because what I've been doing is putting $100 a week into my TFSA, and purchasing what I've been purchasing, like VDY. I want to build up my position in Google, yield Google a little bit to about 5%. So that I'll do. But then, so I want to bring it up. So 52, if I can put in the $100 a week, it's $5,200. I should be up. It would be nice to be by the end of the year, I think over 20,000, just over, I think it would be nice to have the mark at $20,000 in my TFSA. I think just over 14 right now. So I think it's obviously doable. If there's some increase, yes. If there's if it's like Vic says, goal is not to lose 22% again. Yes, that's obviously a goal. But time will tell. So I think for me, I'd like to have it at $20,000, and then if I'm able to put any extra on top of that into my TFSA, that's a bonus. So that would be nice. Yeah. And Vic is buying some XIT. And yeah, Vic, I got VDY as well today. Yep, that came in today. It was nice. That dividend's really weird. You missed the beginning, but we're kind of talking about snowball effect. And VDY is kind of a nice one for that. Yeah, realistic. Yeah, slightly elevated above ground level. If I'm really lucky, then maybe into orbit level elevation. Not exactly moon. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I think we're gonna have a. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? I think getting. I think we just need to get through. We need to. Well, we needed to get through last year. Now we need to get through this year. I think just. I think just sticking with your plan, whatever whatever that is the way to do it. Slow and steady. Not try and be too smart. And just carry on. Be patient. I think that's the biggest thing. Uh, that's what I'm learning. Being patient, because you look at stuff and you're like, oh, should I move this around, do this? And I'm like, no, just gonna be patient right now, and carry on with the plan that I laid out for me for the basically for the year. This is what I'm going to be doing. So. There we go. What are some of the best lessons you've learned since becoming more of a self-directed investor versus being with a financial advisor? Good. That's a really good question, Zach. For me, is patience. That's what I can really say. Like really, it's patience on stuff. Don't I probably, yeah. I mean, my investments, obviously, you know what I'm buying, you know what I bought, and the reasons I buy them. Um, but I think going forward, the biggest thing is patience, because you can control it and control what you're buying and selling, possibly all the time. It's it's um, it's easy to kind of want to jump around, or feel like you want to jump around, and it's making sure you hold back on doing that and stick with your plan, because usually, like, a financial advisor will have a plan for you, right? They'll go, this is what you're going to do. You'll put in X amount every payday, every 2 weeks. It's going to go here, and they have that plan. It's not going to deviate too much. There'll be adjustments, obviously, but on your own, it's easy. It's patience is one thing, and also it's I find it more can be kind of more emotion, like your emotions play more into it. So you have to really stick with your plan yourself. You have to be really diligent if you are doing it yourself. So it's not for everybody, right? But it takes a bit of time to it took me, everybody makes mistake. You make mistake. You have to learn. You make mistakes. You carry on. You move forward. And hopefully don't get discouraged. Anybody that started, I think, investing last year, if you made it through, good for you, because it's when everything was going, into the dumper, it would be easy to panic if you weren't prepared with a plan and sell. That's what a lot of people do, right? At the wrong time. So. When your portfolio is more modest, savings rate is super important. When your portfolio has large compound returns and I'm starting to see that. I mean, obviously my portfolio is not massive portfolio, but it's good. It's building, and you start to see the returns starting to kind of come, and then you just kind of look, and you have to almost step back and go, I've only been doing this for 2 years. What's this going to look like? I'm on the track for in 10 years. What's it going to be like? If I keep with my regular purchase, slow and steady. Even if I just did that, even if I just did like nothing else to my portfolio, other than put in $100 a week to what I'm purchasing, and then reinvesting dividends of the other stuff that's kind of coming in, if they come in 10 years, I'll hit the mark, my goal of 100,000 for sure. Yeah. But it just takes time to build it up, and patience is patience is the number one lesson. Long story short, at least that's for me. I don't know. Everybody else, let Zach know in the comments. It's always good questions. They are good. They're good questions. I like these. I need to really do another Q&A almost for the channel, on there, but and film it, because I know some people do have questions like that. Yeah. Oh, right. That is awesome. That is good. I think, as in many industries, there's lots of average people in them. A very good advisor can be beneficial, but finding the very good advisor is difficult and generally require a high net worth. Your comment caught up a little bit there. Yes. Um, the problem is too, I think, I mean, I can speak for my own. I did have an advisor that was good, and it he when I moved to Alberta, he was no longer able to service me as an advisor. And this is kind of how I switched over to Wealthsimple, because the advisor, I mean, and again, my portfolio is not huge. And this is, again, like, it's not huge portfolio, wasn't managed, but it was substantial enough. And because I had my lira, right, from my prior employer, and the person I got, she reached out to me with an email saying, basically, oh, I've been transferred to your account because of, you moved and whatever else. So fair enough. And then she kind of said, oh, well, I'll be reaching out to you, and we can set up a time just to kind of go over everything and introduce each other, blah 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 blah. She never called me back. So I just decided to move. So it can be hard to find these good advisors. Or what happens is, these good advisors, they will get promoted, or they'll do something else. And if they're at a certain financial institution, they'll move financial institutions or move different places. So it can be frustrating. But I've been happy with on that part, in terms of advisor side, with Wealthsimple. The robo advisor works for what I have and need. I've been more than happy with it, that's for sure. So, good question. What's the best? I mean, that's kind of changed. I mean, it kind of changes as the portfolio goes like this. I think it was good when I got into Tesla. That was kind of a smart. I give myself that one smart trade. I sold my Ryokan and bought Tesla, which helped out. That definitely helped out the portfolio. I was up on Ryokan, which was nice. So that was good. Right now, just trying to think, of my active, like, my best performing one, like, kind of all round, is actually and this mainly is because the Canadian dollar is just in the dumps against the US, is doing that initial investment into the venture fund. That's been my best. Like, that's kind of been my best one so far. Whether that will pan out over 10 or 15 years, I have no idea. But right now, that kind of turned out to be good. I'm optimistic to see what happens with that. I think the best ones, though, really are just, for me, is kind of sticking with some simpler ones, S&P, and the Canadian, the VDY for Canadian coverage has been doing okay. So that's for mine. Haven't you look back at stuff. I think most people probably would have been, although it's fun to kind of pick individual stocks and see things moving. You need to have you get that kind of excitement from investing, from choosing individual stocks. So I get that it's a bit more exciting, Zach. I know you, Zach, you're basically XEQT, and if that's what you want to do, that's awesome. But sometimes it's fun to kind of pick different things. If you pick losers, you pick losers, but obviously don't put all of your eggs in one basket, right? A good question: Who would win a race between a tortoise and a turtle? Those are the deep questions. The deep questions. Yeah, that is true. I think it must come in weight, kind of comes in it's like those milestones, right? Like, for me, hitting the $10,000 was a really good milestone. And then, it'll be kind of 20,000, and then and then of course it'll be 30,000. I'll be like, okay, I'm just going to go to 50. So you get kind of those steps. But if you think about it, if you can kind of break it, and you can just math, right? You can break it backwards and go, okay, if I'm making X amount on 10,000, if I can get that up to 100,000, I should be, you can use the math to figure it out. And I think it'll the compound will really start to get more real when it's 100,000, and it just kind of really snowballs from there. It's just getting there. It's a grind, right? It's a grind. It's a grind to stick with it. Again, back to patience. It can be like you said, exhausting struggle sometimes, especially when it's not going in your necessarily in your favor. That's the hard part. But you just kind of have to look at the big picture. So those are awesome questions. This was a good stream this morning, everybody. I love when the comments get going. It's great. And you'll probably get into more individual stocks, but I will keep it at the same allocation I do with Bitcoin, BTC, 1 to 2% of everything I own. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, the individual stocks that I have on my portfolio as well, Zach, are they're a bit more than 1 or 2% for sure. I kind of keep them around 5. Tesla's a bit higher than 5 right now, but yeah. And in terms of Bitcoin, like I have Bitcoin as well. Haven't bought any recently, but it's probably around. Yeah, it's really low percentage in terms of big picture for sure. So definitely, I would even say like allocation 1 or 2%, probably even less than that altogether. But that's a whole other speculative thing. Who knows? Maybe that will turn out to be the best investment I ever made. But it's like sometimes you just never know with these things. It's a lot of it sometimes turns out to be just whatever, for luck, for whatever reason, getting into something at the right time and pays off, but yeah. I still think Bitcoin will hopefully do well. Yeah. There's lots being built with Bitcoin and stuff kind of happening with it. I do find interesting a lot of the stuff, especially with the Lightning Network and payments. I see some interest in there. It's just getting obviously more mass adoption. If anybody's never, I don't know, Zach, if you have a Lightning, if you do use Lightning for anything, or transferring payments, that kind of stuff. Obviously, maybe not as much in Canada. I mean, you see the odd store here that has it. I haven't really used it. I've used Lightning to transfer stuff around. It's like instant. It's insane how quick the payments go through for these payments. It's kind of mind blowing. So lots being built on there. We'll see what happens with the technology. I think we're still years away though from that. Yeah, it is kind of fun, but I mean, in general, you perform better by doing, letting someone else do the work for you. I think, whether it's a index fund or anything like that, it can be fun when something goes up. But then your heart sinks when all of a sudden something's down 10% in or more in a day. But you just hopefully didn't put enough. I mean, my perfect example is one of mine. I mean, if it's down 95%, I mean, I put like $175 into it. It's not the end of the world. Would I rather have put it in now? Looking back, probably put it into something like the VFE or the S&P, something like that. And sure, but on the flip side, it could have maybe it would have been okay. But you do learn a lot. Everybody does. Yeah. Oh, okay. So you have a ledger. Yeah, that's what I use I have my Bitcoin. But you need a separate Lightning wallet. There's a little bit different. That's the thing with Lightning. Can be a little bit maybe confusing at the very beginning, because Lightning is not on the chain. It's done as like it's kind of just done as a ledger system that runs kind of on top of it until you close off and close that Lightning channel, and then it comes back onto the Bitcoin blockchain. Super confusing, but I run a Bitcoin node on my like a Bitcoin. I have a little server, Bitcoin node server that runs, not a miner. It's just that runs the node, and then part of that has a Lightning wallet. So but you can also have Lightning channels set up. So I can have Bitcoin on Lightning to and people can route through my route through my route through my router at my channel, basically. So yeah, we're chatting. It's always good if it goes on. I'm okay with that, Candace. It's all good. I can look over and see my email. I don't have anything really super pressing, anyways. So it's all good. And yeah, and I think, well, you know what, this is probably a good comment to leave the stream at, actually, Zach, is it is super easy to now, with all the, whatever you're using, right? Wealthsimple or National Bank or whatever, it can be really easy to get into. And I think, yeah, some people, like you said, can overcomplicate it. And I think overcomplicating it makes, it can make it confusing if you overcomplicate things. It's better sometimes just to, stick with what you know, obviously. But don't be afraid to learn new things, right? Like you said, you're younger, so you have lots to learn. But it's everybody's got their own opinion with investing. Everybody's got, like, I'm sure everybody that's watching this stream has some overlap in their portfolios. Obviously, everybody probably, there's some overlap, but there's obviously things that I'm investing in that someone would think I'm crazy, but then there's probably things that other people that are put their money in that I think is crazy. So there's no right or there's no right or wrong, and like you said, just different people have different perspectives on where they think what's gonna happen. Who's right, who's wrong, time tells. But again, if you have time on your side when you're younger, you have time to make, maybe make some more mistakes than if you're on the older side, with your, closer to retirement, that kind of thing. You obviously don't want to necessarily. It just comes down to, I think, like you said, don't put all your eggs in one basket, but being sure that you're diversified along the way with it, no matter how old you are. It kind of, I think, will pay off in the long run. There we go. This was a good stream. It's coming up. It's 9:00. Started rambling. I love these questions. So for everybody that did tune in on our live, it's all good. I love this. Last one here, and then I do have to go. It's goals, right? Yeah. If a person says they want to generate, beat the market every time, it is challenging, but index returns are extremely easy to generate. Yeah. It's it's just sticking with the plan, right? If you're doing the index thing, you just, like Zach has a goal of buying, X amount of XEQT, and that's the goal, moves ahead, and it will benefit in the long run. And it's the psychology. Yeah, it's psychology. It all comes down to that. That's the biggest thing. Even if you're up and you want to buy more of something, and you think you want to buy more, and then you see it's a green day, you're like, well, it's up. Why do I want to? I bought it. It's this whole like tugging of back and forth each time you put your money into your account. It's interesting, that's for sure. So always awesome. There we go. We do have to wrap it up, though. It is 9:00. I just had my buzzer go off. And thanks, Candace. We'll leave it at that one. Have a great rest of the day, everybody. Really appreciate it. Lots of fun. If you're watching and you made it to the end here, give it a few minutes. I will post to the public, will be the last portfolio update, which I filmed yesterday, so you can kind of hang out. If you're still hanging out on YouTube, you can watch that. If not, that's okay. And we will see you. I will get it posted tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. That's good. TGIF live stream tomorrow. So we'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.